Hi, it's Matt Bisogno here again, and I've got a very short video for you today to outline a couple of new features coming to Geegeez Gold. In actual fact, they're not really new, but rather small enhancements, small but perfectly formed enhancements to the existing Gold functionality. Now, the first one is found on the Draw tab, so let's whiz over there, and maybe subtly but perfectly. You can see that the lines on this chart now are curved. And if I just compare that with how they previously were, you can see they're a lot more angular in this view. So we've just smoothed the curve out somewhat compared with how it previously was. So that's just a small thing. That's reflected on the draw analyzer as well, which is our tool even for selecting any course you want. So let's have a look at, for instance, I don't know, Kempton standard to slow, 5 furlongs actual handicaps, and we can see here that there's a strong correlation between draw location and your chance of winning. So you can see that those nice curved, smooth curves are replicated on the draw analyzer. The other thing that we've done with the draw tab is, here is how the heat map used to look historically. A little bit blocky, a little bit ZX Spectrum, Sir Clive Sinclair circa 1984. The world has turned a bit since then, and we felt that our heat map should replicate that turning as well. So we've just merged the colours between the blocks to make things a bit easier on the eye, a bit less nauseating in terms of the colour scheme, and a bit less basic in terms of the blockiness, if that is a word. So that is that. That, of course, is replicated on the draw analyzer as well, and you can see that there for a different race setup. So I think that's a lot cleaner and neater and tidier. The data is exactly the same, so really it's an aesthetic thing, a cosmetic thing only. But we do want to make Gold look as good as it plays, and so we've done that. The other thing that we've done is on the Pace tab. Now, let's go up to our current Pace tab, which looks like this. Pretty nifty, and we're able to see, for instance, in this race, the pace prediction is maybe falsely run, because everything looks to be a hold up or at best mid-div racer. So we still have that in the new world. As you can see, we've got that same maybe falsely run setup, and we have our data option here. But we've also got this new heat map option. So if I click that, something rather interesting happens. We now have the heat map from the Pace tab underlaid on our Pace map. That's a lot of maps. What it essentially means is we can now very clearly see which parts of the draw and run style combinations are suited to which horses today. Now, in this particular example, if I just put it on, let's try impact value. In this particular example, the place to be is front rank, and there's nothing obviously going on, so it's perhaps not the best example to have used. There is really very little pace in the race at all. Now, some horse, some jockey, some connections are going to decide that this is an opportunity to go forward, but it wouldn't be obvious who that's going to be. So in this unfortunately selected example, there isn't a play. But let's say, for example, Jack Louis was in the lead space here. We could see that that space, low and lead, wins excuse me, wins more often than standard, normal. This is the IV view. You can select win percent, place percent, AE and IV as you can on the draw tab. Any horse in this area of the draw would be marked up. By the same token, we've got a whole raft of horses here in this kind of red zone, middle and held up, middle draw and held up. And I mean, in a race set up like this, I wouldn't be terminal about their chances, in exactly the same way that I wouldn't be bullish about a horse's chance in this block here. It would either be a mark up or a mark down to add into the mix, along with all of the other form considerations, perhaps from Instant Expert and so on. So I think that's an important point to make. Whilst this is in my opinion, a really useful addition for people betting on the flat, that kind of at a glance view of which draw run style, which horses fit the draw run style profile for a course and distance. It is only one piece of the puzzle, and we do have to consider that, of course, in the context of the horse's form, the trainer's form, and so on and such like. Anyway, that's it. I promised it would be a short video, and so it is. This should be landing, I'm recording this at lunchtime on the 12th of February. I'd be very hopeful this would be live, well, maybe this afternoon, but certainly in the next day or so. So you can have a play with it in due course. That's all for this video. It's Matt Bisogno saying thank you for listening and watching, and bye for now.